Hello and welcome to the re-record of the DV Club. The next speaker is Lavanya J from Incore Semiconductors, and she is co-founder and VP of Verification Systems at Incore. At Incore, she pioneers open source verification frameworks for RISC-V based on subsystems and has more than 7 years experience in industry with various processor verification teams, and has been leading the verification efforts with the Shakti program at IIT Madras for the past 2.5 years. Thank you. Over to you, Lavanya.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Today we'll be talking on verification and integration challenges in RISC-V-based SoC, and it's jointly presented by TESOL and Incore Semiconductors. Slide. So we start off with the needs and challenges in any RISC-V-based SoC verification. We see that in recent times, the SoC design complexity is shifting towards domain-specific architectures. Like, for example, in security and AML domains, we add new components to the SoCs and also novel interconnect designs to the SoC. In order to verify such complex SoCs, the verification environment has also increased in its complexity. In order to do that, we need to add block level VIPs targeting tests for the block and also at the system level. If we see the whole verification phase, we see of the designs, the different SoC implementations are changing only in minute variations in the configuration to target different applications. For example, RISC-V itself is a highly configurable open ISA standard where the extensions can be added or disabled for the particular implementation. To verify this processor along with the coprocessor units or hardware accelerators or peripherals that are connected to form the whole SoC, we have to have a complementing verification environment understanding the configuration of this design. So in order to do that, the best and the quickest way is automating the SoC verification. In order to do that, we exploit the configurability of the verification IPs that form the basic building blocks of the SoC verification. And also it reduces the manual effort in building up different SoC test benches with only the configuration parameters that are different. And hence, we feel that automation is the way to go for rapid SoC verification. Slide. So, explaining this automation at a block level, we use an example of AXI4 interconnect design. We see that the interconnect design has varying sizes as a 34-bit or 32-bit or a 64-bit data. And along with that, the number of masters and the number of slaves connected to the interconnect can also be a configurable parameter. In order to develop the test bench for this AXI4 interconnect verification, we connect TESOL's AXI4 master VIP and also a slave VIP forming the test bench. But to exploit the configurability, we see that the agents, sequences, and interfaces are parameterized so that the same test bench can be used for verifying different design instances of the AXI4 design. Next slide. So we see that the design itself is configured using the following parameters. It has various address and data bits. It has different master and slaves that can be connected, and also the user-defined memory map. All these can be are the design parameters which are defined using the Python YAML file. These parameters go in building the design in different ways for different design instances. In order to use the same design file for verification, we have to follow certain methodologies. Next slide. We see that for the verification environment, we have different design instances, only varying the data width in this instance. Here we see that AXI4 with 3264 or whatever the supported data widths are there, the design instances have been generated. But the verification environment is a single AXI4 verification environment with a configurable VIP, and the data widths are given as inputs in the command line arguments as shown below. Once these are given, the VIP is configured accordingly, and the verification of that design instance is being carried out as using the SVUVM methodology. We can see that the design has several parameters that is configured and it has to be verified, but it can be done in a very automated way so that the rapid verification of the same design with different instances can be done effectively. Next slide. But in order to use the same block level configurability at the SOC level also, we have to understand the complexity in the parameters that are present. For example, we had only hardly like 10 to 15 parameters for this simple, for this design instance. But in an SOC, there are several, the RISC-V processor configuration itself is huge. We have to understand the modes supported within the processor. We have to have configurations defining the different ISA extensions like IM, AF, DC, or 32-bit or 64-bit. All these design parameters have to be mentioned describing the processor itself. Along with that, we have other various peripherals that are connected to the design. There are hardware accelerators for which there will be different parameters connected to the design, and also any coprocessors and interconnects that are present within the design. In order to explain the whole configurability of the SOC, a simple SOC configuration specification has to be built. It has to be comprehensive and it has to be easy to scale for any SOC design. In order to do that, only when the SOC configurability is explained in the Python YAML file, and that is used for verifying the SOC. This helps in automating the whole SOC verification, and it will be explained in the following slides. Next slide. So we mentioned that the SOC specification file is a very important file that defines the automation for SOC verification. That single file can be used to generate the whole SOC design, and the same file can be used to generate the verification environment also. This verification environment can be used as the starting point for rapid verification. In order to understand that, we have to quickly understand the specification components of the YAML file. It consists of modules. Modules are nothing but instances of the SOC. It is either the processor or various peripheral units or interconnects, things like that. So the interconnects are defined as clusters. These clusters will have also the parameters like the role of other modules onto the cluster. For example, module 1 can be a master to the cluster 1, and module 2 will be the slave to the cluster 2. All these information are present as part of the clusters. The module parameters defines all the design configurations of a particular module. So in this place, we explain or define in more exhaustive fashion the module's design parameters like the address width, the data width, the associativity in terms of caches, the ISA extensions in terms of a processor ISA. So this defines the whole parameters and the verification space of the SOC verification. In order to hook the VIPs into the SOC test bench, we define the interface signals of every block, and the VIP's interface connects to that using these specification components. Along with that, the connection hierarchy is also specified within the specification. This explains how the modules are connected with each other through what kind of clusters. And it helps in understanding the upstream and the downstream port, and it develops the whole test bench effectively. Along with that, the specification also mentions the memory map. The memory map of the SOC is user defined, and it can also be specified as part of the specification. All these modules, clusters, parameters, signals, hierarchy, and memory map form the extensive SOC specification, and it is specified in the form of a Python YAML. And this can be used to generate the design, SOC design, or it can be used, and to complement this design's verification, the verification environment will also be generated using the same specification file. Slide. So now we have defined the SOC YAML specification. Once this specification is fed into the SOC test bench generator, it first validates whether all the parameters and the values and key elements that are specified is according to the already existing rules and schemas present within the generator. For every cluster present, there should be a proper connections modules associated with it, and it should have all the proper roles of masters and slaves. So these are some of the rules that are present within the specification and the rules specification schema, and these schema helps in validating the first level of the user inputs, that is the specification. Based on this validation, we see how the test bench gets generated. Slide. Once the user specification is validated, the test bench generation happens, resolving all the interface connections, hierarchy details, and using the standard verification IPs to develop the whole test bench. The test bench is automatically generated from the specification with all the information present in the YAML file. Next slide. Similar to the test bench, each verification IP also consists of tests associated with the various blocks and also system level tests. Based on the configuration specified in the YAML file, the test suite can also be appropriately selected for the configuration, and they form the whole verification environment for the SOC. In this instance, the peripherals associated with the SOC, the processor and its configuration. So the various components and its associated tests will be selected based on the design parameters specified. Next slide. Once the whole environment is ready to be deployed, then the test regression happens on the selected tests on the generated test bench using the continuous integration format. This helps in rigorous testing of all the verification components using the verification components within the test bench, and helps in rapid verification of the SOC. Thus, this common standard SOC specification helps in rapid design generation and also the verification component generation of the SOC. This generator helps in developing the whole verification environment in a very rapid fashion. Thank you. Next slide. So the SOC building framework components, here we call it as a building component because it's not just about verification. We already know that the SOC YAML specification can be used to generate the design and verification components. And hence, for any rapid SOC building, these are the following components that are required. As we have seen in the presentation, the SOC YAML spec, which defines the RISC-V processors, peripherals like UART, I2C, and other sample specifications. Along with that, there is an SOC generator component, which is a Python-based full SOC generator that generates the blue spec design and builds the whole SOC. To complement that, there is a SOC TB generator, which is again a Python-based SOC verification generator using the SVUVM-based verification IPs. Last but not least, the verification IPs itself, which forms the buildings blocks of the verification. All these 4 blocks put together helps in rapid building of SOC along with its verification environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavanya. Really appreciate you taking the time to re-record the presentation. Unfortunately, Suresh couldn't be with us today, so you very kindly agreed to do it on your own. So thank you for that, and thank you for taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.